Stampers, it's Madeline from Stampin' with Madeline, and I am going to show you an awesome stamp set and framelit set that's available for you right now. So this is Carols of Christmas. This is a great set that you have access to early. So the brand new catalog comes out September 1st for you. You'll get to order anything from it that you'd like, and this is a sneak peek of it that you will get to order today if you'd like. So this has a great stamp set and also these gorgeous card front building framelets. There is so many possibilities that you can do with these. You can't not have this in your collection. It's just amazing. So I am going to make 2 cards from this set just to show you a little sneak peek of the fun things that you can do with them. The first card is a gingerbread card. I looked on Pinterest and got a few ideas and made it my own. So this is going to be the first card that we make. The second card is an artisan card that I found online that I wanted to remake because this has a really awesome quilted diamond pattern in the back that some people use a diagonal scoring tool for that I don't have. So I wanted to teach you how you can make this diamond score pattern with your Stampin' Up! Trimmer. So I'm going to be teaching you how to do that as well for the second card. So let's get started with the first card. You are going to need some materials. I have everything cut out. All the dimensions will be repeated on my blog, so you can head over to there. The link is going to be below this video. So first, I need a card base in crumb cake that is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And then in cherry cobbler, I'm going to need a piece that is 4 by 5 1/4. Then we need another piece of crumb cake that is 3 3/4 by 5. And then I used my Big Shot and used the circle framelets and got this nice cloud shape. And then I used the stitched shapes framelets, which are amazing. I love them. They have squares, ovals, and circles. This one is the circle one, and it looks like it's stitched, which I love. You will need some of the cherry cobbler ribbon that you're able to get from the annual catalog right now. All the links for the supplies that I'll use will be in my blog as well, so you can click on them and head right over to my store 24/7. So make sure to check that blog link below. So this is cherry cobbler ribbon that is 2-sided, so it has this stitched X's and also the lines, which I love. So that is the double stitched cherry cobbler ribbon. Okay, and then you'll also need some metallic thread. So I'm using the gold metallic thread, and that's just to give it some accent up here. You'll also need a scrap piece of paper of crumb cake for your gingerbread, and also a scrap piece of whisper white to make the little ornament that he's holding for Deck the Halls, which I just love. Okay, so we're going to get started. We're going to start stamping first. So you'll want your pierce pad, your pierce mat here. And we're going to be using a whisper white, so that's what we're stamping on. I'm going to use a stamp from the Carols of Christmas. It's Deck the Halls, and I'm going to use cherry cobbler ink pad. So I have it on my block here. I used a size E block just so it fit really nice on here. You're just going to tap up and down on your ink pad, and we're just going to center it as best we can on here. It is a little bit, the stamp is a little bit bigger than this circle, so just center it as best you can and press down and hold for 3 seconds. And there we go. So there is our Deck the Halls. And I don't need to wipe off the stamp because we're actually, oh, I will need to wipe off the stamp. We're going to be doing it in a different color for the other card. So now that it's stamped, we're going to attach it with some adhesive to this cloud shape that I have. So just use some adhesive and attach it down. You want to center it so you can see the cloud shapes on all sides. Just like that. Look how pretty. Okay, and now the next step is going to be to get this wood embossed image onto our crumb cake smaller piece. So I'm going to show you an awesome thing that's in the catalog right now that you can get. It is an embossing folder that gives you that wood style paper that I just love. So this again will be over my blog. Below you'll see a whole picture sheet of images of what I have used for these cards, and this will be in there. So you're just going to center it where you want it on here. I try to line it up with one of the planks. That way it'll be as even as can be. We're going to close it and we're going to bring our big shot in. Now the most important thing about using your big shot for this is you have to remove two things. You want to remove your thin die adapter and you want to remove one of the plates. So really you'll only have the big shot platform and one of the plates. So we're going to put our embossing folder right down onto the big shot platform and then one plate on top of it, and that's it. This is one of the intricate detailed ones, and it's a thicker folder, so that makes it so it gets a much better impression, but that means you have to take more off of your big shot. So look at that, it gives a great image. I love it. All right, so that'll be it for the big shot, and I did some pre-cutting for the big shot. So I did do the circle, the stitch shapes, and also the cloud behind it all on the big shot, so I did that earlier. So there were 3 things that we used the big shot for this card. So now we're just going to start putting this card together. So first you want to put your wood plane onto the cherry cobbler, and don't attach it to the card base yet, because this is where that cherry cobbler ribbon comes in. So we're going to center this. Push it down nice, make sure it's all adhesive down, and you're going to use the cherry cobbler ribbon and just measure out enough so that a little bit folds onto the back of the card. Now you can use any adhesive that you'd like. I'm going to use my tape gun just to get some adhesive onto this ribbon. Okay. And then you're just going to center it onto your wood plane. Make sure you like where it is, and then tuck these behind. So that's why you want that little bit of adhesive so that it sticks behind. So there we go. And then we're going to attach it to our card base, just like that. So just center it onto the crumb cake card base. Okay. Now we are going to attach our Deck the Halls circle. So what we want to do is use some dimensionals. So you could use mini dimensionals or regular dimensionals. And we're going to place a bunch onto this backing here. And we're going to take some of the metallic thread and actually stick it to these. So you want quite a few. If you don't want it popped up, you don't have to use dimensionals. Totally up to you. But I'm going to use a bunch of these. I love dimensionals. Okay, so we're going to remove all of these little papers and get it sticky so that way the metallic thread will stick to the back here, but the cloud shape will actually stick to the card as well. Just a few more of these. You'll find these everywhere all over the house when you start crafting. They get stuck to me and they end up in the kitchen and in the bedroom. They're everywhere. Okay, so now that I have all of the paper off, you're going to take your metallic thread and you're going to wrap it around 3 fingers. So just get to the end, wrap it around 3 fingers. You kind of want to hold your fingers out wide. I'm wrapping it about 10 times and then cut it. And then you kind of want to space it out like this. Make sure your ends are in similar places so that those definitely get stuck down on the back. And then you just want to make sure what side you're putting it on and stick it down. And you can rearrange this any way you want. It's just easier to wrap it on your fingers because you have a little bit more control over it. So there we go. So then we're going to stick this down all the way to the left side, just like that. You can kind of rearrange the metallic thread a little bit here as well. Okay, and then we're going to make our gingerbread man. So you want to have a piece of crumb cake candy that you can stamp the gingerbread man onto. So we're going to use chocolate chip for him. And he is from Cookie Cutter Christmas. So this is a great stamp set with a punch that you'll get to see in a second. It's on my store. It is my favorite holiday stamp set so far. I just love the versatility of it. There's a Santa, a reindeer, and an Eskimo. And the punch works perfectly with them. And there's so many different kinds of cards you can make with it. I love it. So you'll want to get your Pierce mat out again, because this is photopolymer stamp, just so we get a nice crisp image. You want to get his feet towards an end of a paper, because then the punch will have no problem punching him out. So there is our cute little gingerbread man, and we're going to use the Cookie Cutter Christmas punch that goes along with it, and again, this will be in my links. Just slide him in there, line him up, and punch with two hands. Sometimes it's a little difficult. Okay, and there's all those extra pieces that come out that we won't need for this card, but you can just toss those aside. All right, so he's going to go on our card, but we need a scrap piece of Whisper White. I just have a scrap piece here that we're going to stamp the ornaments with. So these are from Carols of Christmas 2, and we're using the Cherry Cobbler ink, and we really just need one of these ornaments, but they are together, so just find a place that they'll all fit on. Ooh, I got a little smudges there, but that's okay, because we're not going to be using the whole image. We're just going to be cutting out one of the ornaments. So hand cut out your favorite ornament from this. I'm going to do the round one for this one. And we're just fussy cutting it out. This will be what the gingerbread man is holding. So it'll look like he's decking the halls, which I love. Okay. And we are just going to finish up this card. So we can get the Pierce mat out of here. Alright, so get the metallic thread the exact way that you want it. And then we're going to put down Mr. Gingerbread Man with some adhesive. So just make sure it's enough that he'll stick to the ribbon. Alright. And then we're going to attach the little ornament. So I'm going to use a mini dimensional to attach this. So just one on the bulb, and we'll line it up with his hand, just like that. So it looks like he is decking the halls. So that's our first card. Wasn't that simple? I love this card. And you could add some sentiments inside if you'd like, or a piece of Whisper White to write your note. It's totally up to you. And this will fit in a regular size envelope that you can mail. And I just love it. I love Christmas cards. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the second card. So this is where I'm going to teach you how to make this diamond background with our stamping trimmer. Okay? All right, so let me first tell you all the pieces that we're going to need for this. You're going to need a crumb cake background again. So this is a base card. It's 4¼ by 5½. Then we're going to need a piece of Tranquil Tide, and this is 4 by 5¼ And then you'll need a piece of Whisper White, which is going to be our diamond scored background, and that's going to be 3¾ by 5. Then we have another, same thing as the last card. We have a cloud shape in Cherry Cobbler, and then a stitch shapes circle in Whisper White. Okay, so let's put all of that away except for our Whisper White piece. So we're going to take out our stamping trimmer, and we are going to make a diamond background here. All right, so make sure it's unlocked, and this is what we're going to do first. First, you want to go from corner to corner. So you want to line up your corners here, make sure you can see it all, so that in the crease here, you have the corner here and the corner here. You want to make sure your cutter is all the way down or even out of the cutter, because you don't want to cut. We're only using the scoring gray tool here, or not gray, like a little tannish. So corner to corner, we're scoring. Go once and twice, okay? And then you're going to go corner to corner again for the other side. So again, lining it up in this crease here, a corner here and a corner here. That way it's nice and straight. And do your scoring once, twice. So now you'll have an X, it looks like. Okay, so now choose which one you're going to do first. Pick one of the creases we just did. You want to line them up on the 1 inch. So get it so that the top corner is on 1 inch, and then the bottom corner where the crease is lined up with the 1 inch on the grid down here. And then score once and twice, okay? You want to make sure it's straight because your diamonds won't work out if you don't have it lined up exactly with the 1 inch on the ruler and the 1 inch on the grid. Okay, and we're moving again. Now go to the 2 inch with that same corner to corner, line it up, 2 inch on the ruler, 2 inch on the grid. Just make sure it's nice and straight. Close down and score once, twice. Okay? Now we have to do the rest of this. So turn it around, get back to your corner to corner here that we started out with, line it up, 1 inch on the ruler, 1 inch on the grid. Close it, score it once, twice. Okay? And now we're moving that again to the 2 inch, corner to corner, 2 inch on the ruler, 2 inch on the grid, and go again, once, twice. Okay, so now we have one part of our diamond ready. We need to go to the other corner to corner. Okay, so line it up at 1 inch. We got the corner lined up, nice and straight. It's on 1 inch up here, the creases, and then 1 inch on the grid. Close it, make sure it's nice and straight, and score once, twice. Okay, so now we can see the diamonds are being made. Okay, now move it over to 2 inches. So corner at 2 inch on the ruler, and the other corner at 2 inch on the grid. Close it, score it once, twice. Okay, so we're almost there. Look at all these diamonds that are forming. Now we have to do this side. So we're just turning this around. So we're still doing the same corner to corner, but we want to finish it up. So get your corner on 1 inch on the ruler, 1 inch on the grid, close it, score it once, twice. Good. Now we're going to move it to 2 inches. So corner at 2 inch on the ruler, and then 2 inch on the grid, and just make sure it's nice and straight. Close and score once, twice. Awesome. Look at that. Now we have this really nice diamond scored background, which I just love. So we're going to accent it more by using some pearl jewels that we can use. So it's very light. When you have the card in your hand, you can definitely see the diamonds. I hope you can see it on the camera. You could fold all these and score it, but I really didn't like that with the bone folder. So this is what the card will look like. And as you can tell with the little pearls, it really accents the diamonds. So I think that's all that's necessary. So we're going to get our pearls out, and we're just going to place them onto every diamond that the cloud won't hit. So get your cloud out and put it where you think you're going to want to place it. That way you know where to put the pearls. So I just have my pearl sheet here, and I'm just placing where the diamonds collide. And I have a little pointy tool that helps me so they don't get stuck to my hands. So I'm just going into every part where the diamonds intersect. I'm using the smallest pearl and just accenting every part on the card. And this really makes your diamonds come alive here. And really makes it look quilted, which I love. Okay, so we're going to stop there. We can always go back and add more pearls at the end if we see that some need it. So now we're going to stamp our sentiments. This is a two-step stamp. We need a piece of Whisper White. It could be a scrap piece of paper. And we're going to stamp Deck the Halls again, but we're only going to be using the for this, because see how it has that two different colors there, Tranquil Tide and Cherry Cobbler. So we're stamping the entire stamp, again the same one from the first card, but we're going to be getting rid of most of it. So just stamp down and press for 3 seconds. There we go. And again, we're just using the from this one. Make sure to clean your stamp. And we're going to use Tranquil Tide next. So you can use a stamping scrub. That's the one that I recommend. It has 2 sides here, so one is wet and one is dry. So I wipe it down on the wet first and then dry it. And it's really nice because it gets it really clean and gets it dry fast, so you can go right back at it and stamp again. Now I'm going to be using Tranquil Tide, which is one of our in colors, which is one of my favorites. And we're going to be stamping right onto the stitch shaped circle. So make sure it gets nice and inked. And again, center it as best you can and press down. 3 seconds. There we go. So now we're going to be cutting out the with another punch from this scrap paper. So I have this really nice banner punch, which I love, and we're going to be punching out from this stamp. So line it up as best you can. We can cut off the excess. There we go. There's the. And you can trim it if you'd like, because it does have some of the bigger letters on it. But if you're going to trim it on one side, I would trim it on both, just because it does change the shape. There we go. And I'm going to use some mini dimensionals to attach it down, just so it has more dimension to it. And then we'll be ready to put the card together. So again, this is Carols of Christmas that you can get as a bundle with the card front builder framelits. I'll have all of the supplies that I use in this video over on my blog, so make sure to look below at my blog link and head on over and see what we used. You can always shop in my store 24/7. Now we're just putting this beautiful card together. So we're going to attach the diamonds to the Tranquil Tide here. And before you attach it to the base, we're going to be attaching some ribbon. So just center this the best you can. And then we're going to be using, again, that stitched ribbon here. So you need enough to go around the whole card like that. And then just snip it. Okay. So now I'm going to put adhesive on the part of the ribbon that's going to be on the front. Okay, and just laying it where I want it. Okay, and then for the ribbon on the back, I'm going to place a little bit of adhesive, but we're actually going to twist it a little bit, so I'll show you. I'm putting a little bit of adhesive, placing it down a little bit diagonal, and then I want it to have the same print, so we're twisting it a little bit, so that then it shows the same print on both sides. So I twisted it and I adhesived it down, because see, now we have the same print of the ribbon. So just twisting it once and putting some adhesive down makes it so you get both sides with that nice X stitch. Okay, now we're going to be doing the same thing we did on the other stitch circle. We're going to be placing a bunch of mini dimensionals all over this and then using metallic thread again. So this will make it so it'll stick to the card, but it'll also help the metallic thread to stick. So I'm just going to take off all these little papers. And be careful not to take up the whole dimensional, because I have done that and it rips the paper. Once they're down, they're down. Okay, so now that all of the little papers are up, we want to get some metallic thread, so I'm using the gold one again. So I used very similar supplies for both of these cards. I'm going to go around 3 fingers about 10 times and then cut it. Kind of space it out. And as you can tell, you want to make sure you put it on the right side. Okay. And then just place it where you want it. And you can always readjust the thread the way that you want it. And then press down. And there we go. So you can tell that some places still need pearls. So yes, we'll go back and do that. But let's first attach this to the card base. I am putting adhesive on the back of the ribbon just to keep it in place. Get your card base out. Make sure it opens on the way you want it to, on the right side. And then center your Tranquil Tide paper on there. Press down. And then go back with the pearls and get the places that you missed. I think the pearls really make this card. And I saw it on an artisan blog, and I just loved it. And I wanted to show you how to use your trimmer to do this kind of background, because I've never seen it before where you use the trimmer to do it instead of a scoring tool. And so I hope it helped you. So make sure to look on my blog for all the supplies that we used for both of these cards. I loved them, and I hope you did too. If you liked my video, give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe for lots of more info. And don't forget that Carols of Christmas bundle is available to you now, early, before the September 1st release of the holiday catalog. If you don't have a demonstrator, I'd love to be your demonstrator, and I can ship out some goodies to you, including the catalog. Just reach out to me. I'd love to be your demonstrator. So again, I hope you liked these cards, and I hope you make them. Leave me some comments below. I love to hear from you, and head over to my blog to see all the supplies that I use for these and see them in my shop, which is active 24/7. Thanks for watching. For now, keep stamping, Stampers. Bye.